All right, so now this next one is from Robert B. Now, this is what I was telling you about the running back conversation, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so do you think Snell was in more to limit Connor's touches to ease him back into the game plan? Connor played well and looked fresh and seems to have a burst that Snell doesn't. I feel like we just said that last week, right? We said Snell has the burst that Connor doesn't.
I can't get this right. I just can't. So, I mean, is Snell going to have a big game here in one of these next 2 games or something like that? Because we just can't get this right.
Well, I was going to say it's setting up for him to have an opportunity, but he's going to be on the short end because you think about Cleveland's going to still be motivated.
Yeah. What are we doing?
But we'll talk about that too.
Is that going to be in the preview, or do we have questions for that?
We got questions for that. That's what I said. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it all depends on that. Who's going to be playing?
Yeah, but either way, the fact that we're having a conversation who's playing and the amount of time they're playing, it lets you know either way that the mindset already isn't the same mentality that Cleveland is having. In terms of Cleveland back against the wall, they have to win.
Are they out?
No, they're not out, but they need to win to get in. They're not injured yet.
Yeah.
So you can see the different sense of urgency that one side is having versus what we just said here in 30 seconds ago of, well, who's even playing for us this week? Like,
the Colts are out.
Yes, they are.
I think they're the ones out.
No. Colts have to beat the Titans this week.
Oh, because the Titans lost.
Yeah, Colts have to beat the Titans. If the Colts lose, the Colts are out. The team that's out, the Raiders are out.
Yeah, they're definitely out. I mean, it's down to 14.
Else.
It's down to 14.
It was somebody else
Titans,
that got
Colts,
out yesterday.
Dolphins and Ravens and Browns. It's those teams.
Yeah, because all of those teams. Yeah, but I think the ones that control it, Cleveland controls their situation, and the Titans control their situation. Everyone else is kind of all right, if we win, then that team has to lose, or if we lose, then these teams have to lose.
I'm just glad.
Yeah.
That early winning helps us out here.
It did. I mean, we're a second half performance away from being in a scenario of, all right, this is for the division, or this is for us being a 7 seed. Like,
well, you heard them talking about the Colts even. They were like, man, this Colts team, and you can even see they're a really good team. Mm-hmm. Man, this team could be like a 2 or 3 seed here. And like next week, they might be out of the playoffs.
Like, seriously.
Like, they're a playoff team. If you just look at them, they're a good team.
But it just shows you it's crazy because typically when we talked about the expanded playoffs, it was in the reverse effect, right? Of, man, we would have been in at 8-8. Now we're looking at it like, man, these are going to be some 10-win teams potentially not making it. Like, that's real.
Yeah, Ravens are going to be one of these wild card teams, and they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams.
And that's a team that mean, imagine you see them in a wild card round. Like, that's a funky matchup.
They're playing hot right now.
Yeah,
so that's one of the teams. It's like,
absolutely, man. So. And now that we know Kansas City has the 1 seed locked up as well, you're like, man, who's the 7 seed? Who's the 6 seed? Because if we're a 2 or a 3, that's who you're looking at. So you could see a Colts team if they don't win their division. You could see a Baltimore in that. That's legit.
Dolphins or Browns are probably the lowest tier.
Yeah,
that's who you'd want to play.
Well, the only reason, in terms of teams that we want to play, yes,
first round. Yeah.
I was just saying, I don't know because of the head-to-head element. Well, actually, no, the Ravens, I'd have to look.
Yeah, I know. This is probably way too complex.
I'd have to look to see, like, if the Ravens and Browns both got in, who has what seed and how does that work? The 2 teams we know we're not going to face in that first round, though, Kansas City number 1 and Buffalo number 2. Like, you know that for certain. Everything else is pretty much up in the air, all cards on the table.
Yeah,
man.
100%. So with Snell and Connor, though, yeah, dude, he looked like a great running back. He in my opinion, he's RB1 again, it's just craziness. It's week by week where Connor, man, you're just like, what the hell is he doing out there? He doesn't look right. And then the next game, we talk about the Jaguars game, or even maybe one of those games. Was it the Eagles game he had like over 100 yards too? Yeah. There was a Texans game in there too. I know Broncos. You're just like, damn, dude, he looks fine. Like, he looks like a top 15, top 10 back in the league right now. But then there's other times you're just, what the hell is going on? I think a lot of it was due to line. But then Snell gets some opportunities like he did in the Bengals game. Mm-hmm. Wow, Snell looks pretty damn good here too. But right now, as of this game, Connor looked like the better back, so I'm good with it.
Connor looked better yesterday. I still think both of these guys have been too inconsistent for me personally, and it's not just them. We've talked about the O-line as well, and the receivers in terms of how everybody has factored into the very below average or non-varsity running game that we've had. So I don't think that Connor is more explosive because literally, like we said a week ago, we talked about how explosive Benny looked against the Bengals. 1 or 2 plays of explosive run, to me, it's more flash in the pan at this stage in the season. If we're having this conversation as week 1 or week 2, I think it's different. But this is a large sample size here. Even yesterday we talk about 2 plays distinctly with Connor. It's not like we saw just it's not like the Jags game where even though it wasn't necessarily all rushing, we still would see him in the screen game creating. Like he was just
he caught a couple passes.
Right. He just looked like crazy like that. To me, I'm still waiting to see that from either one of these guys. I don't have an issue. We don't have a vested interest in either one. I mean, obviously played with Connor. Connor's my guy.
With Snell
on the show. So it's like, man, I got love for both of these guys. Interact with them. I mean, they're part of the Steeler family. But to me, I just feel like if neither one has taken the reins and it's like, yo, this is my spot, I'm the guy, I don't feel like you have an RB1 right now. And I don't think it hurts them because we don't.
As long as the running game is effective.
We don't operate as a team with the RB1. We don't. Let's be real about it. We say it's flavor of the week. Shoot, you talk about which guy next week. It could be McFarland next week getting all the. How many times have we seen it? Think about the Dallas game, right? Going into that game, we said, man, James looked like he was on one, like he was going to be one of his games. We said, if not James, Benny Snell with the physicality. Who was out there 90% of the time?
Yeah.
McFarland from start to finish. So that's my thing. It's just like we don't even operate and view them within the organization as RB1. So I feel like at this stage, going into the final week of the regular season, why are we even trying to put a label and say this guy's RB1? If they haven't become RB1 by now, they're not RB1.
Whoever can do the best in the playoffs, that's what counts.
We're committee. Be a committee. And it's nothing wrong with committee. We talked about teams that won Super Bowls with committee. We could go down
Williams
the list.
last year. That's what I mean.
There's a ton of teams that win with committee.
Bro, Williams last year was basically a no-name throughout the Chiefs in their regular season. Had a great playoff run. And, if one of these running backs does that, then that's all that really matters. And it could happen. You just never know. Absolutely, man.
So that's kind of my view on it. I do think both of the guys can be effective. I think both of them are, honestly, as much as I don't like to say this, I feel like they are very similar in terms of I don't want to say they're identical, but it's like they are twitchy enough. They have enough burst in spurts, but they are not a fast player. They don't play fast like McFarland. You actually plays fast. They are more fast in spurts, or they have a burst where if you over pursue, they can hurt you, right? But they're not going to beat you to the corner. They're not going to run a foot race.
Yeah, you want to talk about fast? The Colts running backs,
you saw it
playing fast. Yeah,
you see what? It
was.
Not
it was
only
just
playing fast.
Damn, dude.
Do you see playing fast but under control? Because McFarland plays fast, but he slips a lot. He reminds me of the Roadrunner.
He could be like Hines.
Yeah, he reminds me of watching Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner. I'm like, I see his feet move, but he's not going, or he's slipping and sliding all over the place. Where you see Taylor, you see Hines. It's like these guys are playing fast, but they are not hurried. You know what I mean? They are very much under control, and it's slow for them, fast for everyone else. McFarland looks like everything is fast right now. Like he hasn't adjusted to the speed just yet, which is common. And that's why we say a guy like Taylor, he was taken in the second round. I mean, he's a higher pedigree guy for a reason.
That. It's actually taken him a little bit to really get going. I don't know if that was just due to opportunity.
It was opportunity. Because remember early on, Marlon Mack was the guy, then he got hurt, and then they went Hines. They tried to go Hines more, and then Hines got hurt, and then it went to Taylor. And now they've settled in on this mix of Taylor and Hines together. So it was a mix of all of those things. But also, man, the situation we talked about is a lot better in terms of running back success in Indianapolis with that offensive line.
For sure.
And I mean, just as a whole, their offensive line, the receivers have been very consistent this year as well. We saw that and how they were giving our DBs fits, especially in that first half. So that also has played into why they have been able to jump on that moving train compared to a guy like McFarland, who limited opportunities along with shoddy play on the offense.
I think what it comes down to this RB discussion, it's like whoever's in when the offense is looking good.
Basically. If you're in and we win, you're the guy. If you're in and you look good, you're the guy. If you're in and we look bad, you're not the guy. We've been talking about Kevin Dotson. Man, Renegade looks good with Kevin Dotson in there. Renegade was trash. Not trash, but it wasn't varsity consistently.
It was effective enough in the second half, and we talked about this.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying. We're winning. He's in. I don't care, man.
So we just go. That segment was brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbooking app. Not only is it safe, but it is secure, and most importantly, Deke, it's reliable. We just want a little reliability. That's all. We don't ask for much, right?
One of the more important aspects of life.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put that better myself. And with that being said, for all the first-time users out there, if you use the promo code Moats, you will receive up to $1,000 in deposit bonus money. Now, we already said it's reliable. We already said the deposit bonus is essentially free money. So the only thing left to do is download the app and use the promo code and get the opportunity, right?
Sounds simple enough to me.
What are you waiting on? Download the app, use the promo code, and get a little money. Or at least opportunity.